Willie is a young coach, especially with a lot of energy. You know, understanding from a player's perspective quite early. You know, just seeing how he worked with us and how he communicated with three and book. You can tell he made it pretty easy to communicate between the head coach and player over there. And he was under Coach Monty's wing. We saw how Coach Monty got our hard headed behinds in the place when it comes to just being coachable and doing what's right for the team. And it probably wasn't easy, but definitely looked good over there.
Obviously, Zion and Mayo may not play. They got Brandon maybe out of touch, but if they come full strength, you guys obviously full strength. How much do you looking for?
Man, let me just tell you this. From the start of the season, we've been feeling like we're playing playoff basketball. Like, you know what I'm saying? We've been playing hard as heck. Practice has been intense. We've been going at each other. So, yeah, we expecting a long playoff game through this regular season. Like, every game is going to be tough. It's not easy winning in the NBA. So, we're expecting everybody to throw their best blow.
Deandre, what did you take away the most from that series against a young, hungry team like that?
Oh yeah, you can't sleep on them dudes, man. Not that we slept on them, but them dudes, they could play. There's a reason why they're in this league. There's a reason why they made the playoffs. And the coach, Coach Willie's a defensive dude, man. He's all about defense. And just seeing how CJ, got the young guys doing what's right, and Ingram doing the same thing. It's tough. It's good seeing it because I've seen it full on in the playoffs on how those guys communicated with the whole team.
How was the playoff series that you guys had with them? I know that's been a key for you and
Yeah.
Josh coming in. How important that is?
That was very important, especially Jock coming off the bench, maintaining that physicality, staying on the glass. That's what Valanciunas did a lot. He was on the glass, whole board defensive, and that was a key part in that series. It was a rebound in the defensive game.
It's the Warriors who had a couple of those deep seals, and then Jock comes right in and does the same thing.
Oh, yes.
Have you guys been kind of bouncing?
Most definitely. I say it's gonna be hard. I say, bro, we're gonna make it hard for coach to play us both when we're doing the same thing, bro. So let's just leave it like this for now until we make the adjustments. But we always been wanting to play with each other on the floor at the same time. But just having that presence with the first unit and the second unit is amazing, man. I just love what he's been doing and what he's been bringing and contributing to the team.
Who do you think gets down there quicker between the two of you?
Nah, he does. He decent. Yeah, he definitely gets down the rim. Gets to the rim faster than me. I kind of trail behind the play just to hope to get a trail three. You know what I mean? I don't pop as much as him, but I'm gonna try to get a trail three. But yeah, he can go ahead and seal. You feel me, man? I want the trail three.
Mark is a good player to don't.
Huh?
Coach Bryant is a good player.
Yeah, he still is. Yep.
What kind of relationship do you two have, and how beneficial is it to
With just NB, or are you saying with Jock added?
No. But you ain't Coach Bryant.
That's. Shoot. The man taught me the float jump shot. I didn't like it at first. I told him I don't want that in my game, and now it's a part of my game. I love that, because that's a shot mainly in the short rolls when team are running in zone and blitzing these dudes. That's a shot I'm gonna have to take because we can't put it on the ground because people are hungry. So he definitely taught me that, and the physicality and just guarding dudes in the post. Always, a couple tricks just to keep them away from the rim and always keep dudes mindful of them around. And, they won't get hit like that again. And taking a hit, taking a blow or two. If I'm giving out hits, I'm gonna have to take some. So just battling against him every day and working on my moves. Pretty physical, man. I be telling him he gotta chill out, but it helps me in the game. You gotta chill out.
That you guys would still consider like underdogs to be.
I don't care about none of that. I don't care
Yeah.
about none of that. I done seen where I'm supposed to go. I done been in it. They ain't never seen it, but that's just how I am. I'm trying to get back to that.
Yeah.
I'm craving for it. They don't like the way we finished out. This is a vengeance here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm expecting every team to, just throw everything they got, because that's what we're going to do. We just angry for no reason right now. Because we embarrassed ourselves last year. Here we are right now, just, come back with a clean slate.
Yeah, with your role in the defense, what was it like last year to play against an offense led by a guy like McCollum, who traditionally would be looked at as a two guard, but to have like a shot maker like him in the offense? Did you notice the difference with him? Well, how did you approach it?
I know having McHale and me mirroring McHale, you know, we didn't. I don't say we stopped him as much, but he definitely got in the flow to where he ran the offense pretty well for those guys. And you know, Brandon Ingram took advantage of how we had attention on McClellan, and he does best. And we just got buckets from the midi and all ice. And just seeing how McClellan, did how C did with us, controlling those young guys and making them play the right way. I mean, he could do both. He can score and be a playmaker. So I mean, it's CJ, man. He's been in this game for a while and he's pretty smart.
Do you see that Pelicans, or the way that they have become with CJ as a veteran in that group, stuff similar to where Chris came as a veteran to this group?
Yeah, that is this. I mean, to be honest, bro, I feel like they're the same team. I don't want to say that, but that's what it feel like sometimes when it comes to the players on the team. And like, obviously, we don't have a Brandon Ingram 6'10" doing what he does, but at the same time, just the way how they play and how they approach the game, it just feel like a young and veteran core, that's on the same page. Literally, everybody's on the same page over there, and you can see it.
I feel like that's a product of Willie's system coming from here, or
Most definitely, and Coach Willie having his own touch on guys as a player. How he deal with his guys personally, because it's different personalities. But most definitely, seeing how Coach Mont, dealt with us, because bro, we were hard headed, bro. You know what I'm saying? And Mont just kept it cool, and it's cool breeze, and he got us. I don't know how he did it, but he got us, bro. And we listen and we trust him. So we tell that really got his hands on them dudes. He's going in a good path.
What's it like playing?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, not the same exact team, but like just the tradition and just the approach. It's pretty lit to see that because it happens so fast.
Sorry, Dace. Kind of to that point, what was it like playing against a team that ran so much of your same stuff?
Feel like practice. I'm not gonna lie, it felt like scrimmage. I knew it was coming. They knew it was coming. So yeah, it was just mano y mano, to be honest. Like, we're gonna get to the play, you're gonna get to the spot, but what you gonna do? It's just, just really guarding straight up. And that's playoff basketball, man. And that's where we're at right now, because we just playing at 110 now. That's what I'm feeling about this team. If we don't play 110, I feel like we lose. So that's where we are in the NBA. The NBA has gotten harder. Dudes have gotten better. Teams have gotten smarter with, just picking, superstars apart and guarding as a team. So yeah, it's gotten harder, man, and it's more fun. Definitely more fun.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, you can see their level of continuity, the way they're playing, having had a group of guys with CJ in back-to-back years. You can see they're ahead of most teams in the league, and they're deep and big and physical. They play in the paint more than most teams. I mean, it's nothing for them to have 60 points in the paint. A lot like us, they have, a couple of guys that can play in the mid-range, and they can go into the post with Valanciunas, with Zion, and Brandon. And they don't have a prototype point guard, but, CJ, I think he was a point guard in high school and in Lehigh. So they're one of the more complete teams in the league. And I've told you guys countless times what I think of Willie as a coach, the amount of things I learned from him. It's one of the reasons why we stole him from Golden State, was the person he is, but also the coach that I always felt like he was, even as a player. He's just so smart, had a great feel for situations, wasn't afraid to challenge me on things that I needed to be challenged on. So they're a tough team across the board, man. I'm like, that team's gonna be good for a long time.
Deandre was just saying, you think they're similar. How similar do you feel like you are?
I mean, if you took the, did something, take the faces off and you watch their plays, you watch how they play, you watch some of the defensive schemes, like you almost see the same team. And I think that's why the series was so physical and chippy because you're out there running the same stuff at times and they know what's coming, you know what they're running. It is just like, oh, so that makes the game fun. At the same time, I've seen him add his own wrinkles on both ends of the floor. And I think anytime you work with someone, you take what you've learned from that program and then you add your own stuff. You know, I don't think any of us are inventing anything. So I see some nuances and wrinkles in their program that are a bit different than us too.
Coach, what have you seen from Trey Murphy so far? His scoring is really.
I mean, he's a guy that didn't even name. I mean, he's long, he's confident. The shooting, at some point, he was shooting like 60 something from three, you know, and he's a better athlete than people give credit or talk about. He and Herb on the floor at the same time. It's like they got 2 6'8", 6'9" guys out there just all over the place, you know. He's more than a shooter. He reminds me a little bit of Cam in the way that people perceive Cam Johnson. They only look at Cam as a shooter. But you see him in practice, you see the plays he's making in the game. You're like, man, this guy has more dimensions to his game than people are giving him credit. I feel the same way about Trey. I felt like the experience that all those young guys got in the playoffs last year has helped them tremendously over the summer, and you can see the benefits at the start of this season.
From your time in the league, is that something you guys went on a finals a little bit more different, but over your years in the league, is that something where year to year you start the new regular season, we see some young guys who went through the playoffs for the first time, and you can just see the difference?
Yeah, I think it's hard to fabricate those types of days in practice. You have to, in my opinion, you have to be in those environments. For us, the bubble was a great experience for us because we just couldn't lose. If we were going to have a shot, we could not lose. And even though we didn't create that pressure, it was there. And you dealt with it and you're like, okay, we might as well use this to our advantage. They had the same thing. I mean, they had to win the play-in game to get into the playoffs, and then they beat us up and, you know, almost got us. I mean, if you're really going to shut down the corn, man, they almost got us. And I think that builds confidence for any team, but especially a young group that's, you know, getting a chance to experience that at such a young age.
When it comes to punishing some of those mismatches,
Yeah.
big guys, what does it do for kind of continuity with different lineups when you're able to have DA hitting those teams?
Yeah. I think, you know, we hope if teams keep playing that way, we're going to try to grow that environment for sure. And I think it gives those guys confidence that we'll keep going to them, you know, when they have a smaller guy on them but I think the one thing we need to grow in that is it doesn't always have to be a toss inside for a post up. It can be an attack. And I thought that's what we did much better in the Clipper game. They would switch and we didn't settle for the post up. There were times where we drove the big. And I think that's the other part. If you want to generate threes, because that's why teams switch. They feel like that big guy can't hurt us, or they're trying to take away threes. Well, you can still generate threes with a 0.5 drive and force a collapse help and then find guys on the backside. So I hope that we can grow that environment. And to your point, that could give us a bit more confidence with that group.
How much does that, not that big guys don't engage, they don't get the ball in that scenario, but how much of a boost does that kind of get with you?
I think it's for sure. I mean, it is deflating when you have a smaller guy on you and you don't get the ball. I don't care who you are. It's just human nature. You feel like you're wasting a possession, you know? So I don't mind that. I want guys that want the ball down there when they have a big guy on. But I think it does give those guys confidence when you trust them. And Chris and Book are usually the guys initiating that, and they have the utmost confidence in our bigs when they have a smaller guy on.
Lonnie, to your point on those 0.5 drives, Damian has been super aggressive with those in 4 games. Do you see that experience level of him playing with Steph against like recovering defenses and knowing what to do?
Yeah, I think it, you know, a lot like Willie. You know, we we stole Willie from Golden State. Now we stolen D Lee. I mean, they bring a. It's not even about the championships. It's the championships are a part of it because some days D Lee will start talking about something and I'll just sit there and listen because the experience and his know-how is tremendous. But the way that they play is similar to how we play. And he's brought a level of cutting and slashing that we didn't have across the board. And now you're starting to see Book do it. You know, Book's a good cutter, but he expends so much energy with the ball. Sometimes it's just hard to cut. And when you see Book cutting baseline and McHale finding him, it's like you wonder if that's a residual of just watching McHale and D Lee and Cam do it. Book's like, okay, I'm going to join that party too. So I'm hopeful that, you know, all the stuff that he's learned there, it will benefit us. Can y'all let the lady go? She's tried like twice.
Which are good rumors that President Barack Obama is part of a group that wants to purchase the team. How would you feel having him a part of the organization that he's even interested in?
It's, you know, for me, I don't tend to make comments about speculation. But I think anybody would value a partnership with someone like that. For me, as an African American, even though you may have differences of opinions on certain views politically, whatever that looks like, someone who's been through those kinds of experiences from a leadership standpoint, I would love to just, you know, pick his brain and just sit and listen, you know, for hours about life and decisions and things like that. So I've heard that also. But it's hard to speculate on that because I'm so locked in on the season. But when I did see that on Hoop Site, that's my social media platform, in case you didn't know. Hashtag I don't have any other. When I saw that, I thought, like, that's pretty cool. I think it speaks to what the guys have built here, our players, to have people, you know, wanting to get involved with purchasing. Like, how do you purchase it? Like, how do you spend that kind of money to, you know, I got, like, all my friends are broke. Like, I don't have anybody. I don't have any friends that have that kind of money. You know, all my friends are.
But it's awesome. There's a lot of people dying to buy, but trying to get together to buy it. So they all
Well, I
take
think
part in
the city is tremendous. The practice site, the arena, and then, you know, you have a core group like we have. Like, that's inviting to any group. So I would imagine, you know, if I had that kind of money, I'd be like, you know, I don't. So I'll be at CVS this evening getting some stuff. Those guys don't come to CVS. I'll be at CVS. As soon as I leave here, I gotta go to CVS to get something. And maybe, I guess, I don't know. It's way out of my wheelhouse, but pretty cool.
Last series or last year's first round series, the rebounding was against the Pelicans, and having a guy like Jock, you know, starts the defense when he lets it fly. So you didn't have that last year in Japan. So how do you feel that might bring a new look, having a guy that brings maybe Hayes or Lance or even Valanciunas to the reaction time, getting the crap out, stretch out on him, and he pours out the grass in the board.
I mean, I think anytime you have a guy that, we were talking about this the last few weeks, anytime you have a guy that can possibly dive or pop, it gives the defense indecision. Like we struggle with it. We talk about it all the time. Anytime you have a pick and pop big who can possibly dive, it causes you to think a little bit more. And maybe that helps you on the boards. But in respect to rebounding, like, a lot of that's just will. A lot of it is just being locked in and finishing a possession with contact to go pursue the ball. You know, when you look at the numbers, our first shot defense against most teams was really good, but especially in the series, we just couldn't recover the rebounds like we needed to in those games that we lost. So it certainly will be a point of focus for us tomorrow.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, thank you. Yep.